That summer at the lake, we laughed, slipped, and nearly lost everything. But what happened after the fishing line snapped is why I still tell this story today. When I was 9, the lake felt larger than the world. It sat just beyond a dirt road outside our small town, quiet and patient, as if it had seen every family that ever struggled beside it. We did not own much then. My father worked 2 jobs. My mother stitched clothes late into the night. Some evenings, supper was thin. But once every summer, we packed what we had and went to the lake. That picnic was not about food. It was about hope. I remember Mama rising before sunrise, frying chicken carefully to make it last. She wrapped each piece in wax paper as if it were treasure. Daddy checked the old truck twice. It rattled when it started. He always said, "If it carries us forward, it is good enough." At the lake, the air smelled of water and warm grass. My brother and I ran ahead with the Parker twins from next door. We were the same age, barefoot, laughing too loud. We skipped stones and held contests to see who could throw the farthest. I rarely won, but I learned to keep trying. That lake became my first classroom. I watched my father sit quietly on the wooden dock, his shoulders heavy from work. Yet when I asked him to teach me to fish, he smiled as if he had all the time in the world. "Patience," he said. "Strength grows in waiting." That day, I caught nothing. The Parker twins teased me kindly. My brother bragged about his tiny catch. I felt the sting of failure rise in my chest. Then Mama sat beside me. She placed her hand over mine. "Struggle is not a sign to quit," she said softly. "It is a sign that you are growing." The wind picked up. Clouds gathered across the water. For a moment, it looked as though the storm would end our picnic. Daddy stood, studying the sky. We all watched him. If he said we were leaving, we would pack in silence. Instead, he said, "Let us work together." We secured the blankets with stones. We moved the food into the truck. We laughed as the first drops fell. The rain came fast, cold, sharp, but no one ran away in fear. We huddled under the open tailgate, sharing stories while thunder rolled in the distance. In that moment, I understood something that shaped my life. Hardship does not announce defeat. It invites unity. When the storm passed, the lake shimmered brighter than before, and I asked my father for the fishing pole again. My hands still shook, but I held the pole steady. The Parker twins stood behind me, whispering advice they barely understood. My brother counted loudly as if numbers could pull a fish from the water. Mama watched with quiet pride. The sun pushed through the clouds. The lake turned gold. I breathed slowly, remembering my father's words. Patience is strength in disguise. Minutes passed. Nothing moved. My back hurt. My hope thinned. I wanted to give up, to run and play tag, to pretend I never tried. Then the line trembled, just a little. My heart jumped. I froze. Daddy said softly, "Do not rush. Trust your work." I lifted the pole carefully. The line pulled back hard, stronger than I expected. For a moment, I thought I would lose it. The twins cheered too early. My brother slipped in mud and laughed. Mama clapped once, firm and sure. I held on, every muscle tight. The fish broke the surface, silver and stubborn. We shouted together, a chorus of children and tired parents. When Daddy helped me land it, he did not speak at first. He just placed his hand on my shoulder. That touch meant everything. I learned that victory is not loud, it is quiet, earned through small, steady effort. We shared that fish for supper. Mama stretched it with bread and onions. We ate slowly, grateful for each bite. The Parker twins told jokes. My brother pretended to be a famous fisherman. We laughed until our sides hurt. Yet, while the fire dimmed, I saw Mama counting coins again, planning tomorrow's worries. And I realized something heavy. One picnic did not erase hardship. We still had debts. We still had long nights. But inside me, a new courage had taken root. I promised myself I would study harder, I would work stronger, I would lift my family one day. The lake breeze cooled my face. Daddy said quietly, "Resilience is built in moments like this." And then he handed me the pole once more, pointing to a darker patch of water farther out. I followed the direction of his hand. The darker water looked deeper, quieter, almost intimidating. "Cast beyond what feels easy," he said. I swallowed and nodded. My arms were tired. My palms stung from the line. But something inside me felt stronger than before. I stepped closer to the edge of the dock. The wood creaked beneath my bare feet. The Parker twins grew silent. Even my brother stopped joking. I drew the pole back slowly. Then I cast with all the focus I had. The line sailed farther than it ever had. It cut across the golden surface and disappeared into that darker patch. We waited. The sun lowered inch by inch. Crickets began their evening song. Mama folded the blankets neatly, though her eyes never left me. Time stretched. Doubt tried to return. It whispered that one success was enough. It tempted me to settle. But I stayed. The breeze shifted. The water tightened around the line. Then suddenly, a strong pull bent the pole downward, harder than before. My heart pounded so loud I could barely hear the others shout. The line jerked again, sharp, demanding. This was no small fish. My grip slipped for a second. Fear rose quickly. If I lost this, I would disappoint myself. Daddy stepped beside me, close but not touching. "You are stronger than you think," he said calmly. I adjusted my stance, feet firm, breath steady. The pole grew fierce. The dock trembled beneath us. Mama whispered a prayer. My brother leaned forward too far. The twins held each other's hands. The struggle felt endless. My arms burned. My shoulders ached. Yet I refused to let go. Because in that moment, it was not only about a fish. It was about proving that I could endure pressure without breaking. The water churned once more, and something large turned just beneath the surface, flashing silver in the fading light. The silver flash made Tommy shout, "Grandma!" Back then I shouted, "That fish is bigger than our supper pot!" The Parker twins burst into giggles. One of them tried to salute the fish like a general. I almost laughed and lost my grip. Daddy said, smiling, "Laugh, but hold steady." The line pulled again, hard, stubborn. Tommy slipped on the dock and grabbed my shirt. We nearly fell together. Everyone laughed so loudly the birds flew off the reeds. Mama shook her head, but her eyes were shining. "Children," she said, "win or lose, do it with joy." So we did. Between tugs, the twins told jokes about fish that paid rent. Tommy promised to name this one Professor Wiggles. I told him that fish do not like silly names. He whispered anyway. The sun sank lower. The sky turned pink like Mama's old scarf. Our picnic basket smelled of warm bread and fried chicken crumbs. Hunger growled in our stomachs. Hope growled louder. I pulled. The fish pulled back. My arms trembled. Sweat ran into my eyes. Still I smiled, because for the first time, struggle felt like a game we played together. Daddy began counting slowly. 1, 2, steady, breathe. Mama clapped softly on every third count. The twins echoed her like tiny drums. Tommy hummed a marching tune. We turned hard work into music. I felt stronger with every sound. The line rose inch by inch. Water splashed on our feet. We squealed at the cold. Then the fish leaped high, shining like a coin tossed to the sky. We all screamed with delight. For one perfect second, there was no poverty, no worry, no tired nights, only laughter, teamwork, and a stubborn girl refusing to quit. Daddy reached for the net, moving carefully, as if this moment was fragile glass. And just as the net touched the water, the pole bent deeper than before. The pole jerked so hard, Tommy yelled, "It is escaping with Grandma's future!" Everyone burst into laughter again. The twins tried to help by shouting instructions, each louder than the other. "Pull left!" "No, pull right!" "Offer a chicken!" Mama laughed so much she had to hold her stomach. Daddy wiped his eyes and said, "Children, the fish is confused already." But the struggle grew real. The line cut into my fingers. My knees shook. The dock felt too small beneath us. For a second, fear tried to creep in. What if I lost it now? What if all this effort slipped away? Then Tommy stood beside me, very serious for once. He held my elbow steady. "Do not quit," he whispered. The twins stopped joking. They held the bucket ready. Mama's voice came warm and strong. "Strength grows in company." Daddy nodded. "Pull together." So we did. I leaned back slowly. Tommy leaned with me. Daddy guided the pole. The twins cheered in rhythm. It felt like rowing one boat. The fish splashed wildly. Water soaked our clothes. We screamed at the cold and laughed louder. Mama said, "Look at these brave fishermen who still cannot swim straight." Tommy protested, "I swim like a champion turtle." We laughed again, even while working. The sky deepened into purple. Fireflies blinked along the reeds. Our stomachs growled like tiny bears. Still, we held on, because this was no longer about a fish. It was about learning to fight with joy. The line rose slowly. Closer, closer. Daddy lowered the net again, steady as a prayer. My arms felt like fire. My breath came sharp. But inside me, a quiet pride began to bloom. And just as the fish turned near the surface, the hook loosened with a sudden snap. The line went slack. The pole sprang upward so fast, Tommy fell backward onto the dock. The twins... Tommy lay on his back, staring at the sky, and then he began to laugh. Not a small laugh, a loud, free, rolling laugh that made us all forget the fish. The Parker twins clapped like we had won a prize anyway. Mama wiped her eyes from smiling so much. Daddy sat down slowly and said, "Well, the lake keeps its champions humble." For a moment, I felt tears rise. All that effort, all that hope, gone with one snap. But Mama came beside me and placed warm bread in my hand. "Child," she said gently, "success is not always a thing you carry home. Sometimes it is the strength you discover on the way." We ate our simple supper. We shared stories. Tommy acted out the fish as a giant monster and fell again on purpose. The twins made crowns from reeds. Daddy hummed an old song. The stars appeared one by one. And I realized something bright and lasting. We had arrived poor and worried. We were leaving tired and laughing. We did not catch the big fish, but we caught courage. We caught patience. We caught love working together. That summer changed me. I studied harder. I worked without complaint. I remembered my parents' quiet sacrifices. Years later, when life tested me again and again, I thought of that dock, that slipping line, that laughter after loss. Resilience is not winning every battle. It is standing up with hope, holding on with others, and finding joy even when the catch escapes. So, children, remember this old grandma's lesson. Work with honesty, stand with family, laugh through hardship. Because the greatest triumph is not the fish you land, it is the strong, loving heart you carry home. Join me, a 70-year-old grandma, as I share one of my most cherished childhood memories, filled with joy, struggle, and life lessons that shaped who I am today. Watch till the end to discover the lesson that has stayed with me for over 60 years, and share this story with someone who needs a reminder that even small victories can change a life. If you loved this story, click heart, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Moments We Remember stories from childhood that touch the heart and inspire resilience.